This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, so the demo which I am giving it to you, basically the question is how to set up OpenShift for learning and trial purpose. Okay, that is the question which I am trying to help you with it. So how to set up? So basically, when you set up OpenShift at the large scale, let's say when we say production stage, then you required a pretty huge infrastructure. And when I say huge infrastructure, that means multiple servers, multiple servers which required a good amount of CPU, good amount of memories, and stuff like that. But that is not required us to set up every time. So because we are learning, so first we'll set up that small setup, we'll learn all the functionality, and most of this, not all you can learn, but most of this, let's say 70 to 80% of the functionality you can learn from the learning environment. And after that we'll set up something on the cloud, like at the large scale production ready. So how to set up OpenShift for learning environment? So we, in a last session, if you remember, I said there's so many options, more than 30 different method which we have. Using that you can configure the OpenShift, but the one which I'm talking about is OpenShift Local. Okay, last time if you remember, I showed you the Reddit website login and all kind of things, and then you can you might have seen that. So what is local? So the OpenShift Local basically set up the cluster, set up
Actually, can
OpenShift.
you increase the font? It's too small.
Okay, yeah,
Noise.
yeah. So let me increase this. How to do that? uh, Setting. Do we have a editor? And okay, nice font. Yeah, here it is. And then I'll make it 16. Okay, so hopefully this should be okay for you. This is fine now.
Yeah, it's visible now. Thank you.
Cool. So I was talking about the OpenShift Local. So uh, so for that we need to set it up. Now, when we set it up, the OpenShift Local, basically you set up a OpenShift, okay, and then it's a latest version which we are trying 4.x. OpenShift, uh, uh, you can say cluster, but this cluster is set up in the one node. Yeah, that means entire OpenShift you can set up in the one node. Now this you cannot use for the production for sure, but for the learning and testing and trial definitely you can use it. Okay, so now the, if you want to set up OpenShift to one node, the method which we have is OpenShift Local. Now let me give you the little bit of background of the OpenShift Local. So basically uh, there is one concept called code ready container. What is this? So code ready container is a kind of concept. In short we call it CRC. Okay, so this was the utility in a early stage of the open source development. It was used for set up the OpenShift. Now when I say CRC, CRC was the utility used earlier to set up OpenShift in one node. Okay, and you can set up this two version of OpenShift. One is OpenShift cluster, uh, um, you know, contain. Sorry, container platform. That is the one. Now this is the paid one. Mind it, this is the paid one. And here you can also do the OKD. OKD. So OKD is basically free and open source version of OpenShift. Open source version of OpenShift. Now, so if you want to uh, set up the either this one OpenShift container platform or OKD in one node, then we used to use it code ready container. In short, we call it a CRC. Now, what Red Hat did, they renamed the CRC into OpenShift Local. That is the changes. Understood? Understood?
Raj, got it. No, got it. One concern for me, uh, like not initially, no, so can we able to install this, OpenShift in a larger setup like cloud and all? Because right, my requirement is like it's more of administration, like backup, restoring and all, and also some admin
Yeah. So
activities.
I'll give you the some context here. So
Okay.
let's understand the first what is OpenShift. I'll cover this one little bit later also. But when I say what is OpenShift, so here in this context of you are answering your question. Okay. So answering your questions, OpenShift basically is nothing but we have a Kubernetes. Understood? This is the Kubernetes. Plus we have hundreds of operator. And now this operators is nothing but a networking operator, some UI, some dev tool, and many more things. Now dev tools and stuff like that. So now the question is very simple. This Kubernetes plus these hundreds of operator which you need it is equal to, we call it OpenShift. Now your question is, Rajesh, can we install OpenShift at the production stage? Correct? Production stage, right?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. So now when you say production stage, in that case, we have to use either AWS or Azure or some cloud. Why? Because we need multiple VMs, multiple VMs and high CPU and high RAM. Now the consideration is, if I set up this one now, let me tell you, and this session will continue for a couple of days, couple of weeks actually. If I set up this one now, the cost of this cluster itself will go somewhere close to $1,000.
Okay.
Now the
Got it.
now,
Got it.
now the question is, if I set up this one now, then what we will do after that? So we will do nothing, but we will learn the OpenShift. That is what you want actually. Learn open. After installation, you have to do nothing, right? You have to learn OpenShift. Correct now? As you said, like you want to learn administration, backup, upgrade on all this kind of stuff, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah, yeah. True.
you have to learn. Now the question is, for learning OpenShift, I would say not every topics, but almost 70% of the topics, this learning part you can do with OpenShift local itself. So we don't need a large cluster for it. So that's the reason I'm setting up OpenShift local, so we can cover most of the features, and some features which you want to see that how can it be deployed at the large scale. It's nothing but a few scripts we have to run, but the cost will be so high. For that reason only we are doing OpenShift local, because we cannot run these clusters for multiple weeks, right? Getting opens.
Yeah, yeah, got it, got it. Like since like you're asking, like like after administration there is nothing to do with it. So
Correct.
because most of the 30% of our course related will be on more of development activities. So those only you're expecting only these things, so we can take it later. Not an issue.
Yeah,
Got it.
yeah, that's what I'm trying to finish this one. And after that, anyways, we'll have to set up, and one or two classes will set up and finish the remaining topics. That's what my plan is.
Okay, got it, got it.
Okay, so now coming back to the points here. we need OpenShift Local, whether you need OpenShift container platform or OKD, which is a free version of it, we need it. Now the question is, how can we install OpenShift? How can we set up a OpenShift cluster using OpenShift Local? So for the step number one, I am telling you, and this you have to hear me out, because for this I cannot show you the demo, because the download required at least 1 or 2 hours. So you will understand that's not a big problem. So step number one, first you have to download OpenShift local installer. Now the question is, what is this OpenShift installer? So basically, this is nothing but you will get on the Linux plus Mac plus Windows. Everything you get on every platform, you get it. And this installer, the moment you install it, step number two, install this installer, install it. So now the question is, what you get it? Step number three, you get output results after installing. You get CRC utility. Now the question is, what is a CRC utility? See, if you
Code
install
ready container.
correct code ready, uh, uh, oh, I forgot the name. Code ready container.
Code
Yeah,
ready
correct.
container. Yeah, yeah.
So now the question is, these three steps I already did just before connecting to your session. So let me show you. So go to the command line, clear the screen, okay, and then you just run CRC. See here, it's already installed. So these three steps I did it just to avoid that too much of time wasting during the live streaming. Okay, so now this utility, now again, as I said, it's very simple, nothing great about it. Just download it, install it, and result is CRC, and this is the CRC. Now I have installed in this physical server. One more thing I must tell you, this has to be installed in physical server. Okay, so this is the one. So now CRC is a tool that manage local OpenShift 4.x, which is the latest one, cluster optimized for testing and development purpose. Okay, so this is something which we need it. Now these are the commands anyways, I will show you that. That's not a problem, but you should also run this command CRC version, and you will see which version of OpenShift you will get it actually. Okay, so latest one, I guess, almost 4.18.2. So these are the steps you have to do that. Are you clear? Step one, step two, step three.
Uh, Raj, can I share my screen now? Because hello.
Yeah, tell me. Hello.
Yeah, can I share my screen now?
Okay, so let me complete the others. The recording will be
Okay, okay, okay,
quiet
okay, got
and
it.
it will be mixing up actually. Okay.
No, I thought like okay, okay, we'll complete that.
Yeah. So these are the three steps we have to do. Now you need to understand what CRC will do. I will run some commands. You will see that what CRC will do. So basically, you know what CRC is a utility, you can say is a tool. Basically, it is doing nothing but it create a VM. Mind it. Now it can be Windows or Linux or Mac, but it will create a VM, and that VM of Red Hat or maybe CentOS also 9 version, and in that, plus understand that it will create a VM, and in that it will set up a Kubernetes plus all the operators which I said, right, hundreds of operators you see, plus this operators of what? OpenShift. Now you can go to chat gpt, and if you want to ask what are the operators is been installed, so you can also get it. Let me show you, if I can quickly, I can show you this. So go to here and chat gpt, list of operators is being installed while installing OpenShift. So if you have a if you have a curiosity, you can uh, you know list all these operators. So pretty long list of the operators. Basically, in short, OpenShift, any functionality you see that, it is coming from the operators only. I repeat, in OpenShift, any functionality you see, it's coming from operator. So it's a pretty long list of operator. It's a privilege. So what exactly this tool will do? This tool will create a VM, and then set up a Kubernetes, and then install the operator, and that is your OpenShift in single node. Understood? See that these all are operators. So long list actually. Understood?
I got it.
Yeah. So now the question is, this will create a VM, and the VMs comes from the ISO image, correct? Now some image has to be there, VM image, correct? Now
Yeah, 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 true, true.
now the VM image is pretty huge, almost I think 5-6 GB or something. So now the question is, how can we get, let's say, before firing up the CRC tool to start the to create a VM and all this thing, how do we get the VM downloaded in the local? And for that, the question is how to download VM image plus prerequisite for having this OpenShift cluster. Okay, how to download? The command is crc setup. Understood now? So
Yeah,
that
yeah,
means if you want to do that, if you want to keep all the prerequisite ready, you have to have a crc setup. Let me tell you here, crc setup will download the VM image, and VM image required hypervisor. Remember that VM image required hypervisor. Hypervisor means the tool which will create a VM. For example, in Linux you have a virtual box, I guess, if I'm not wrong. Oh no, Liberty. Sorry, my bad. Liberty. I keep forgetting. Liberty. Or in Windows we have Hyper-V, and in Mac also there's something which I'm not able to recall. We have a Hyper-V. I mean some hypervisor. Okay, so remember that. So now this command I'm going to run now. Let me tell you, just to save time, because it will take at least 1 hour, because it's a 5 GB file, right? 6 GB. So just to save time, I have already run this command, but again I am running. There is no harm in it. Why? Because it will not re-download it. See here. So
So
what is
since it is the package are already available in your local,
right?
so it will
Yes,
just check locally. Then if
correct.
it's not there, then it will go and download it.
Yeah, if you do that, probably all this setup, it will take 2-3 hours for you if it depends on your internet connection. But because I just did it, so this image you have here actually. Got it?
So yeah, understood. Yeah.
Okay, so this image is already there. You see here, exist, and everything is there. And now you're saying, hey, your system is correctly set up for using CRC, and you can now start the cluster. So this is the magical command. So now the question is, this whole things will be done by next command. How to create, simple question is very simple, how to create one node OpenShift cluster using OpenShift, I'm writing local, and the answer is crc start. That's all. So if you do this one, rest of the things automatically crc will do that for you, and enter. Done. Now so far you understood. Now do you remember this? There's a pull secret concept somewhere I explained in the last session.
Yeah, whenever you log into the console.data.com, so when
Correct.
you select local, so it will give you the ISO your image to download it.
Right.
So along with the what is that full secret should be there.
Right.
You have
So
to
what
copy it.
yeah. So what I'm doing, I'm just logging to my clusters. You can create your own account. I hope you might have created by now. Okay. So I'm going to get the secret. So where is that? So anyways, this session is being recorded, so you can see that. And see here, cloud, no, data center, no, local, yes. And here, copy the secret. I did this, pasted it, enter it. And now this whole process of creating a VM for the OpenShift is in progress. Probably it'll take a couple of minutes and it'll be done. My system is very high end, so it'll take a little lesser time. Okay, so now what is being done? So it is being done. It will create a VM, set up a Kubernetes, all the required component, and install hell lot of operators from the internet. And it will take a couple of, these are the operators, pretty huge list actually, you see, as a minimum one actually, it's not complete list. So you more feature you want in OpenShift, more operators you need to configure it. This all automatically happens. You don't need to worry about like you have to do anything as such, but just for knowledge purpose you should know.
Okay.
So just we'll have to wait for it. I will do one thing, I will pause the recordings, or else unnecessarily
Yeah,
the
yeah,
wait.
got it. This will delay.
This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, so now you see that, okay, here everything has been configured. So this is the Kubernetes related services. Everything is done. Certificate has been set up. And now your cluster, you see, started the OpenShift cluster. So that means your OpenShift local cluster is running in this machine, and you can access your cluster at this place. So copy this and go and check this out. Enter. Now because this certificate is not valid, so this will come up all the time. And proceed. Yeah, now this is the OpenShift. You can say same thing you will get once you deploy it at the large scale, but this is a small scale, one node cluster. Now here this is the administrator username and password. Now you must store this one, else you lose it and then again it'll be a problem. So you must store this one. I'm just storing in this node. Now this is the username for administrator, password, and as a developer, see, remember that OpenShift is meant for the developer, right, who want to deploy the clusters, applications, and many other stuff, right? So developer account has been created. Now you can also configure the command line. So now OpenShift has a command line. For this I'll give you the session dedicated one, but for time being OC. So I have not installed the OC, so I need to do that. Let me check if I have it or not. No, it's not there. So I have to install this OC, and then you have to configure uh, in order to work with the command line. So right now you get comfortable with the website, but command line is also very powerful way to do that stuff. Okay, so right now I'm logging into developer. Let's first try as a developer and then login. And this is your OpenShift. Here you can do that first time. If you're coming, you can do that or skip the tour, whatever you want to do. And this is OpenShift developer access, whichever you can have it. Here you have it. See, administrator, developer, few options. Here you can create a clusters, topology, observe, search, builds, all this thing one by one we will explain it to you and all. So these are the functionality which you have, which you need to learn. I'll teach you that one and get going. Are you understanding?
Yeah, I'm following you.
Yeah. Okay. So now let me log out and let me go to the administration. This is where you get the most of the options. And here, done. Now this is something I think your job will be there. So administration section, you need to know all the features and all. Now you see that OpenShift cluster is not for development and testing, is for the development and testing purpose. So do not use for the production. This is just for the learning purpose. Okay. So start with somewhere in the administration you have settings, namespaces, limit range. Now the question is cluster settings and namespaces. What are the namespaces? So these all are Kubernetes namespaces. This is the resource quota for the Kubernetes namespaces. Same limit range also. And here all the CRDs are there. Whatever I told you, right? OpenShift is nothing but a what do you say? Operators, CRD, custom resource definitions. So these all the operators has been installed actually. You see, you can install more actually if you want it. Here you have all the networking related stuff. Workload means pod deployment and all these things. Here you have it. These are the installed operators, and this is the OpenShift one. So as part of this, they have packaged everything. But if you want to install it from the operator hub, so operator hub is one website. You get lots of free operator. See, so if you want to install more operator, you can install it. So how many operators so far has been registered? 381 registers has happened. So that means any feature you want additional, you can install the operators here. Okay. And some homes project is nothing but the namespace, some search and all kind of things. So yeah, this is your OpenShift website, which you have to learn one by one every functionality. Command line also you have to learn, but yeah, website you have to spend some time on that. Make sense?
Yeah, understood.
Okay.
Alright, it is an administration part, right? Can you collapse that?
Yeah.
Very expect. So here, right, that custom resource definition you will be teaching or like
Okay. So this CRD is nothing but uh how I'll have to explain it to you. Hold on a second. So this, first of all, always I've been talking about operators. Correct now? Right? Now the question is, what is operator? Do you know that?
yeah, true. Operator is nothing but one plugin kind of stuff to integrate with OpenShift.
No. Operators is equal to feature. Okay, simple feature. Now this feature is installed in Kubernetes using CRD, custom resource definition. For example, let me tell you here, there is a Kubernetes, right? You probably know. I mean, I don't know how much Kubernetes you know, but in Kubernetes we have a feature. What feature? Actually, we call it resources in Kubernetes. Now you will say, what resources? So pod is one resources, deployment is another resources, service is another resources. So these are the resources, these are the feature. Okay, in Kubernetes we call it a resources, but these are the core resources. Core resources means whenever you install the Kubernetes, you get these resources and many more by default. Agree with me? For example, let me show you the resources which is installed. So kubectl run this API resources. These are the core resources. Resources. What happened? Oh, this. I mean, Kubernetes is not able to access. But I. What is this error? Okay, so kubectl API resources should work, but Okay, ignore this right now. That is a different error. Actually, we are not supposed to have that error. But yeah, so here these are the resources. You understand this one, right? Pod, deployment services, and all kind of things, right?
Yeah.
Now the question is how can you add? Please hear me out. How can you add custom resources? That is a question. How can you add custom resources? So the process is, this process is called the process of registering custom resources, like kind is equal to xyz, which is not a core. Pod is a core, deployment is a code, but xyz is your resources, custom resources, and that process we call it a CRD. So custom resource definition is just a YAML file, and you have to register the custom resources. But this CRD, you have to develop a code, right? You have to write, I mean, that feature has to be developed just like these other resources has been developed. So this CRD has been developing using Golang. So the question is, you ask, will you teach this one? So basically, if you want to develop, remember, if you want to develop the custom resources is equal to CRD, then you have to become a developer for Golang, and then you can develop a CRD. So now the question is what we will be doing. So we will be using all developed CRDs, and that is where I was showing you this one, free website for developed CRDs, operators. In simple way, we call it operators. Understood now?
I got it.
Yeah. So what is OpenShift? Again, I'm repeating. OpenShift is nothing but operators, collections of operators, nothing else. Kubernetes plus collections of operators. And who developed these operators? OpenShift. I mean Red Hat. Simple. OpenShift is equal to Kubernetes plus collection. So where do you see these operators? You can see yourself also. Go to, where is that? Here. And installed operators, this one. So this is not a one operator, okay? This is the bundle of operator. Don't get confused. It's not one, bundled. It's like hundreds of operator got installed. Now the question is, if this operator got installed, how many CRDs you got it? And for that, somewhere here, these are the one you got it. See, these are the not a Kubernetes, mind it. It's not a Kubernetes. You see, you have anywhere Kubernetes? No. These are the CRDs, means custom resources. Who developed this one? So this was developed by Red Hat. Make sense?
Yeah, got it.
Okay, so this is something which we have to do. So I'll keep it this one. Just a second.